hypothetically turned down the inspection, but was rightfully concerned about her tenants, so she allowed the inspection to take place. When the results came in, they weren't pretty. To reduce earthquake risk, which was now known, the entire structure housing the elevator would need to be completely rebuilt, completely new decks would be needed for each floor, and other renovations would be needed, which cost in the hundreds of thousands of dollars at the time. Well, these improvements ended up proving their worth. 21 years later, a strong magnitude 6.8 earthquake struck between Seattle and Olympia, causing $4 billion in damage. While many adjacent buildings received some form of damage, including 2 structures that were red-tagged, the improved apartment complex received no damage. These improvements, while costly, had not only potentially saved lives, but if you are looking at this only from an economic angle, ended up costing less in the long run due to earthquake damage not occurring and preventing a lawsuit from ever being made. What I just described is an ideal outcome of what could occur were every regional structure to have received the same upgrades. I will now outline a few upgrades which can be made. Building materials. First, building materials. In general, non-reinforced brick or masonry structures almost always come away with the heaviest damage of common building materials in an earthquake, with concrete faring the second worst. In contrast, wood fares the second best while reinforced steels fares the best. The reason for this comes down to the flexibility or ductility of the building materials, which can accommodate the motion created by an earthquake. But, fear not, even if you happen to live in or own properties almost completely composed of brick, masonry, or concrete, you can make them more resistant via having their structures reinforced with steel rebar. This process is especially important on what are termed soft story structures. Liquefaction damage. Second, liquefaction damage that is unlikely to occur on a base of hard bedrock but far more likely to occur on a basement of soft sediment such as commonly found adjacent to a beach. To reduce the chance of liquefaction damage which can cause a building regardless of its design to sink as the ground underneath it unevenly subsides, there are several options. This includes artificially increasing the density of underlying soil by compacting it, replacing underlying soil with gravel as this allows the soil to drain water more easily, and the placement of thick stone columns underground. Other methods can be used to reduce earthquake damage, but I will now turn to reducing tsunami heights. While the following tsunami damage reduction methods are best at reducing damage caused by minor tsunamis with wave heights under 5 meters, they can also reduce damage and deaths during taller tsunamis. Methods include but are not limited to placing one or more breakwaters walls, placing seawalls in high-risk areas, placing walls to redirect tsunami waves towards uninhabited low-lying areas, and slowing down the speed of a tsunami advance onto land with very dense vegetation, preferably rows of decades-old trees with deep root systems and walls. None of these methods will truly prevent a major tsunami from inundating structures, but a combination of these methods that includes breakwater walls can reduce the maximum run-up height a tsunami reaches in the best of circumstances by upwards of 50%. So, for example, a maximum run-up height of 35 meters or 115 feet could be reduced to 17 meters or 56 feet. These methods also can give multiple additional minutes of time for people to evacuate. As a final note, an important factor to make sure exists is that any reasonable evacuation route is on fairly high terrain which will not get cut off by the initial portion of a tsunami.